can you talk to me about how actual parenting changed from what you thought it was going to be like before you got married?
The first time? The first round of marriage? You're talking
yes, because that's when the actual shock sets in, right?
Yeah. Shock is a good word. So I think first thing was I was very young. So when I had my first child, I was 25. I'd already been married for 3 years. And I used to babysit and always loved children. So just assumed that I would have the wonderful child to dress up and take play dates and drop off at school and put to bed at night and do all the things that I knew as parenting. And then come in the challenges, which you don't expect, like fights and play dates, how to navigate different personalities with your kids, a child who doesn't want to go to sleep on time. And therefore, my life was more regulated by the child than me regulating life. And I don't think I expected that. I expected, and I know there are some people who do that. Like, we're going on vacation to Europe with this 6-month-old. And that's great if you have a 6-month-old who's just easy breezy and going with the flow. I say having a child is like Russian roulette. You do not know what you're going to get every time. You don't know. So you don't know. And if I have to go on a trip to Europe and we're travelers, but I have this really fussy, difficult 6-month-old, why would I want to put myself through that kind of trip? So I think I realized that my life wasn't as much my own, and it was now really run by whatever challenge I was faced with at the time.
The reason why I chose not to have children is because I feared the unknown. Mm-hmm. I feared that I could have maybe produced a Ted Bundy. I mean, Ted Bundy's parents were probably normal people, mm-hmm. getting up, eating breakfast, going to work, having friends, watching TV, going to bed. And then they had Ted. And their life was a living hell at that point. So there was that extreme fear. Call me crazy, but that's the way it was. Mm-hmm. What if they didn't listen to me?
You know what's interesting, Judith, if I can just interrupt
Please.
you, is that you even thought about that. Because I think that's part of, I don't want to say the issue, but I think that's part of the reason why people just have kids is because they don't stop to think about, well, what does this mean? There is so much unknown. The whole thing, from what will the pregnancy look like, to what will the delivery look like, to what will this child be like, to what will it's all unknown. And I don't think people stop and say, okay, am I prepared for this? Everybody's nervous about the unknown. That's just, part of the work I do is there's dealing with unknown. And we learn techniques and ways to manage that. There's so much here, but I don't think people stop often and say, am I really prepared for all of this? They just do it because, generations ago was just something you did. You have a baby, you get married, you have a baby, you have another one, and that's what you did. So we just followed this pattern. I do see